Hello everyone. Today I am going to cover our mains CS1 geography questions. This year the paper was having both type of questions. Some questions they were very direct, like question related with tsunami or questions related with non-form activity and question related with plate tectonics, crustal movement and changes in earth features related with geomorphology. But in some questions, UPSC has asked to apply us some our analysis, like question related with resource survey and AI drone wala question. So more or less, paper was little bit easy from my perspective because questions were very straightforward this year, and in the questions UPSC has also asked various parts also where what we need to write also. Like suppose in question related with this, explain briefly the ecological and economic benefit of solar energy generation in India with suitable examples. So again, in this question, we have to write our answer in two terms. First, ecological benefit of applying this solar energy generation, as well as second is economic benefits. So this question is very straightforward and it has been asked for 10 marks. So in 10 marks, what you just need to put some introduction, very small introduction, like in this what I have given, like this India's solar capacity crossed almost 119 gigawatt in 2025 and making it the world's third largest solar energy producer. So in this manner you can start your answer, or some other manner also, giving a glimpse of or a recent status of solar energy in India. You can start from there, and now you can further go into the body of the answer, like solar energy provides significant ecological and economic benefits supporting sustainable development and energy security. तो ऐसे करके फिर आपको क्या करना है, हेडिंग सीधे हेडिंग पे आओ, what are the various ecological benefit of solar energy. So solar energy के ecological benefits क्या है, कार्बन एमिशन रिडक्शन होता है, वाटर कंजर्वेशन होता है, देन एयर क्वालिटी इंप्रूवमेंट होती है, लैंड ऑप्टिमाइजेशन होता है, बायोडाइवर्सिटी कंजर्वेशन होता है. तो all things I have included in this particular PDF, and these things we have also taught in our institute. The various factors, we have combined all these factors in our lectures. So with this question, then second portion of this particular question come, and proper examples within this we have also need to give proper example. Like recently there is bird largest, that is solar power, that is Badla solar power plant. It is recently it is going to be implemented. It is in progressive mode, and Wadla solar park will save almost 1.5 million liters of water daily. So water conservation will also be there. Then there is some recent initiative like floating solar power projects, and in Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana, that is Ramagundaram floating power solar power projects, in which almost there will be no loss, very minimum loss of biodiversity, because it will not lead to any kind of destruction in either cutting of forest or cutting overlapping of soils or whatever. So it is very biodiversity friendly technique. So in second portion of this question, we have to write about economic benefit of solar energy. So solar energy के benefits क्या क्या हैं? First of all, solar energy जो है, it reduce our import of oil, because as everybody knows that India is dependent on its energy needs and mostly on foreign, because we import almost over 85 to 90% of our oil need from foreign countries. So it lead to a significant loss for our foreign reserves. Like so we need to import, and it is very high, lead to very high import bill for us. So because of that, if we will produce more and more solar energy into the country, then it will save some kind of economy. In economic terms, we will save some money. So along with that, if we will create some solar power plants, then they will create some employment also. Jobs, some all jobs will be created. Rural electricity connection will also, provide they will give that rural electrification will give some thrust to the local industry, rural industry, so that more number of jobs as well as other things can be generated. So, for example, PM Kusum scheme was initiated in this regard. Then competitiveness. Now the cost of solar power panels, it is reducing day by day. So cost generation for solar energy also decreasing day by day. So now almost parity is going to be happen between conventional source like power plant generated electricity and solar power plant generated electricity. So there is a cost competitiveness also going to be happen. Then first, this energy security also for rural areas as well as other areas. So these things we can also, and there is also one thing, export potential. Even we can generate some energy and we can export within domestic. Like in India, we have started one scheme, PM Sur Bijli Ghar Yojana, Muft Bijli Ghar Yojana. What is that? Every decentralized distribution of solar energy. So solar decentralized solar power plants will be established based on their electricity. That electricity will be added into the main line, and there will be net metering also, so that whatever energy you have contributed in the main line, because of that you will be saving your money also. So some company will pay, some company can pay you money also for your contribution in energy distribution. So these things you need to write. Then in conclusion, we can also write International Solar Alliance, जिसमें हम लोगों ने भी have also projected that we will create almost 500 gigabyte capacity by 2030, and it is the major goal of India's पंचामृत, है ना. इंडिया ने जो अपने पंचामृत बोले हैं कि हमें सोलर एनर्जी में बढ़ाना है, एनर्जी इंटेंसिटी घटाना है. सो क्लाइमेट जस्टिस के लिए दिस इज वेरी बिग पॉइंट, एंड हियर वी कैन कंक्लूड अवर. सो पंचामृत वी कैन आल्सो इंक्लूड. नाउ कमिंग टू सेकंड क्वेश्चन. This question was regarding discuss the changes in shape and size of continents and ocean basins takes place due to tectonic movement of the crustal masses. Question is asking, because of movement or change in crustal mass, what kind of impact is going to be happen over ocean and continent, है ना. So ocean basin, how they are being impacted, or continent how they are being impacted by the movement, crustal mass movement. जो crustal mass movement मतलब continental या जो oceanic crust हैं, they are moving. As we know, this question is particularly related with plate tectonics. As we know, plate tectonics is moving or movement of plate. So why these plates they are moving? Because of internal forces. And how these internal forces they generated, various reasons they are responsible. Most of the major reason is convective magma currents. Various convective magma currents they are generated inside the mantle, and because of that, when these convective magma currents they move, they also move the upper crust areas. So there is something like asthenosphere. Asthenosphere is very plastic and mobile. Inside this, various convective magma currents they being generated, and above this asthenosphere there is lithosphere, and lithosphere is mix of continental and oceanic crust. Our entire upper solid surface, that is known as lithosphere, and this lithosphere is the fundamental block for plates, oceanic plates or continental plates. So these lithosphere or these oceanic and continental plates, they are being moved by convective magma currents, and because of that this entire continental mass moves, and because of that these continents and ocean basins they will also change their place. So as we can see, tectonic movement affecting continental shape and size. This particular theory, plate tectonics में जैसे हम पढ़ते थे, और continental drift theory given by Alfred Wegener. Wegener also studied this theory and he propounded continental drift theory in 1912, where he says also that the position of these continents or oceans is continuously changing. So in plate tectonics, it is being said that earlier in Permian age, entire continent was combined together. This was Pangaea. Then this Pangaea broke away and it formed Laurasia as well as Gondwana land. Then this further Gondwana land and Laurasia, they broke away and gave birth to various continents. And now, because there is continuous movement, so these continents, they have moved from one place to another, and they are showcasing the present situation of continents and oceans. So now various things we have to discuss, where various number of objects, landforms, they are forming. Like there are various boundaries are there, plate tectonics. There are three kind of major boundaries. Like first one is convergence boundaries, then second is divergent boundaries, and third one is transform boundaries. Convergent boundaries, where two convective magma currents, they converge at one place along one line. So two plates, they will converge together, and because of that, various things like cold mountain will form because of convergence. There may be some continental accretion also, where some continents, they will accrete together, accumulate together, and then there will be crustal thickening also, because one crust is uniting with second crust, so there may be crustal thickening also. So, and subduction effect, because of that there may be some formation of trenches also. So these kind of various landforms related with convergence force. And another force, that is divergence force. With divergence, continental drifting is there, then sea floor spreading is there. Because of sea floor spreading, huge mid-oceanic ridges, they are being formed. Even Horst and Graben topography, because of divergence force, they can also form. So there in convergent boundaries, crustal thickening; in divergent boundaries, crustal thinning may be happen. So these are various examples we have to include for this particular answer. Then this is some diagram you can draw कि plates जो हैं जब दूर जाती हैं तो this is divergent boundary, and when they coming together, this is convergence boundaries. So sea floor spreading इफेक्ट उसका क्या आता है, बेसिन एक्सपेंशन, एक्सपेंड हो जाता है. एंड फॉर एग्जांपल इन अटलांटिक ओशन, वेरी फेमस अटलांटिक ओशन, एच शेप्ड सी फ्लोर स्प्रेडिंग इज देयर, है ना. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स और कीवर्ड्स बेसिस यू कैन राइट. देन क्वेश्चन नंबर 3, there is how are climate change and sea level rise affecting the very existence of many island nations. Discuss with examples. This question is particular, very predictable. Last year also, if you see the question paper, UPSC has asked question related with sea or ocean boiling, because now earlier it was phenomena of global warming. Now we have entered into the phenomena of global boiling, where there is a huge accumulation of water vapor, and this huge accumulation of water vapor is changing or affecting the environment in very adverse manner. Similarly, this climate change and sea level rise also affect existence of very island nations. And in this particular question, you can quote some IPCC reports also for this. These small islands, they are also recognized as SIDS, small island developing states, SIDS, and they are frontline victim of this. If any rise will happen in the sea level, then they will be the first and foremost victim of this particular event. And now various reports like NASA, it has says that from in last 30 years, sea level has risen almost 30 centimeter, 15 centimeter in last 30 years. Even other IPCC also says that at their mid level of confidence that by 2100 AD, now by completing this 21st century, there will be a rise of almost 39 inches of oceans. 39 inches means almost 1 meter, more than 1 meter rise will be happen. And this is very drastic or very severe for the nations who are lying along the coastal areas, or they are island nations. Countries like Bangladesh, like Maldives, like Lakshadweep, portion of India, these areas, they are hardly very high situation. They are almost 1 meter to 2 meter high. Like entire Bangladesh is almost 0.75 meter to 1.5 meter high over the sea level rise. So any rise in sea level will affect these particular nations. So what we need to write into the this answer, like physical threats to the island nations, like सी लेवल राइज. और सी लेवल राइज कैसे कैसे, दो तीन तरीके से होएगा. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सी लेवल में एक तो एडिशन ऑफ melted water. Because of rising temperature, more ice will melt, and this melted water will be added into the oceans, and because of that the level of ocean will rise. Second is thermal expansion. As you are very much aware that water expand due to temperature. If you add some temperature or you heat the water, because the heat, the water molecules, they go little bit distance away or they move little bit far away. Because of that there is some expansion inside the water, and this expansion is called as thermal expansion. So these two factors, addition of melted water as well as thermal expansion, will result in rise in sea level, mean sea level, MSL. So these are various factors, and this is also very seasonal. Seasonal effect is sometimes during the winter all maximum water will freeze, so water level will reduce, and in summer or early summer when this water will melt, it will lead to huge increase in oceanic level. So these are various factors you need to write. Then what are the various impact like sea level rise, like islands like Tuvalu, Maldives, Marshall Island, Kiribati, Solomon Island, they will severely affected. Then coastal erosion and land loss, this is also with significant incidence. So coastal loss will be there. Socio-economic impact will also be there, like population displacement. For example, in Kiribati, half of the household affected, migration with dignity explode. So this is also various impact. So we have to include various examples. And this particular question, this is always in news. Even whenever any climate deal or conference or parties will happen, these kind of articles, they always appear into the newspaper. So you have to write again and again these kind of articles into your notes, and then whenever such question come, you just need to put data as well as example. So this is something like that. And what are the various international response? International response में जैसे कि Green Climate Fund है, this has been implemented in 2024, organized, and in which almost $350 million they have been dedicated for the Green Climate Fund. This will support small and these island nations. Adaptation Fund is also there. Loss and Damage Fund, it is also there. So these kind of various things, like regional policies like AOSIS and Pacific Island Forum, migration and sovereignty, these are various initiatives they have been taken to safeguard these nations. So in conclusion, what you can write? In conclusion, you can write sea level rise threatens territory, sovereignty, economy and livelihood of the island nations. So there is an urgent international cooperation is critical to ensure existential survival of SIDS while respecting their legal and cultural rights. So something like that you can showcase in such kind of questions. Then next question is, discuss the distribution and density of population in the Ganga river basin with special reference to land, soil and water resources. Why this question was asked? As we are very much aware, caste census is going on. There is some kind of census, even census is also going on. So in census, it is being said that there is so much difficulty to do census in these areas because high density. So high density यहाँ पे है, and it is very popular area also because high density fertile area. So various factors also they lead to high density into this area. So what you need to discuss the distribution and density of population in the Ganga river basin with special reference to the land, soil and water resources. तो तीन resources के basis पे land जो है, soil जो है and water है. अब तीनों में अगर देखो आप land कैसी है यहाँ पे, लैंड इट इज प्लेन लैंड है. तो प्लेन जहां पे जब लैंड होती है, नो रफ टेरेन इज है, वेरी इजी एंड स्मूथ टेरेन है, तो उस जगह पे रहना भी उतना ही आसान होता है बिकॉज यू आर एबल टू मेक योर हाउसेस, रोड्स, डेवलपमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स आल्सो वेरी इजी. On the other hand, if land is very undue terrain is very irregular, then what will happen, we have to employ so much resources and it is very difficult to develop all the infrastructure also. So this land is plain land, so because of that there is huge availability of land also. And second portion, soil is alluvial soil, and because of alluvial soil, this particular soil is also very fertile, and there is khadar also, then bhangar also, है ना. So these kind of land, so this bhangar area where old khadar is there, then you can habitate, you can build your houses, and in khadar area you can convert it into cultivable land or some agricultural land. So soil is very fertile and it is in the form of khadar. Every year most of the rivers they are having floods, and because of that every year revitalization in fertility also. Then water resources, because of these two factors, area is plain and soil is alluvium, the water table is also very much near to the ground surface in entire area because of the water availability in the form of rivers. So water level is also very near to the surface. So all these factors they lead to huge cultivation of the land, and when cultivation will be there, almost all crops they can be grown in this region. They also supports huge population. So when once huge population will be there, then for this population also have so much labor force, and this labor force in return will again do more agriculture, so more population again will be there. So this is positive feedback effect, and because of that the density will increase, है ना. Because now what will happen, land is limited, so more number of people will be there, and land become day by day, land holding size will reduce day by day. So it will lead to high density in these areas. But overall, if you see in India from rivers Ganga and its tributary perspective, there are certain areas like Uttarakhand and North Uttar Pradesh, there is little bit low density compared to lower part. In second part like in Meerut or in this northern Uttar Pradesh, there is high density. Beneath that Awadh region, in Awadh region more density is there, and this entire Bihar, Jharkhand and West Bengal, this is high density. And in Jamuna and its tributary, this is region of Bundelkhand where various rivers like Ken, Betwa, and but because of undue terrain there is little bit low density of human population. So you have to write all these factors. So based on that you can divide various regions like Uttarakhand region, central northern region, Meerut, Muradabad, these kind of districts. Then there is Awadh plain. In Awadh we can write also population, something about that. Then Magad plain, Mithila plain, like that. And in night below Yamuna and Chambal plain. So here you can write down about Chambal Bihars also, because Chambal is also a tributary of Yamuna, and Yamuna is also a tributary of Ganga river. So all these rivers they also comes under this river Ganga basin. So we have to write all these factors based on soil and as well as that. So then based on these factors you can just describe the population distribution. So some areas they are having very high density like West Bengal, then Awadh region, and some areas they have comparatively smaller density like this Chambal region or this Bundelkhand and Baghelkhand region, as well as this Uttarakhand region because of mountains. So you have to write down your various factors also based on that. And because of these land, soil and water, industries also developed. Because of that industries, various urban trade centers also developed. And these urban centers, they form into some clusters also. So these various factors you have to write. So various schemes like Namami Ganga, National River Conservation Plan, these rivers, they are very, very important. And planning always also focus on river basin. Earlier, various planning events, they have been organized and river was taken as a central theme for that. Now moving ahead with further question, achieving sustainable development, sustainable growth with emphasis on environmental protection could come into conflict with poor people's needs in a country like India. So this particular question is very much theme based, because there is in UPSC there is a very famous theme. And what is this theme? One side is development. Development is necessary. On the other hand, rights. कि people जो हैं इनके rights भी तो हमें maintain करने पड़ेंगे. Protection of these people who are living as there. For example, some people who are living in forest area or some area where various natural resources they are being found, and how this area should be developed. If we will exploit these resources, then there will be involvement of shifting of these people, originally inhabitator who are already living there, these native peoples. And if we will move them or shift them, then that may also cause some kind of resource plundering from there. But for India, such for example like Jharkhand, अब झारखंड में कोल मिलता है, and because of this coal our various power plants they can they run because of this coal availability. अब अगर पावर प्लांट नहीं चलेगा तो एनर्जी जनरेट नहीं होगी, और एनर्जी जनरेट नहीं होगी तो हमारी वेरियस इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, दे विल आल्सो नॉट मूव, वी विल नॉट एबल टू प्रोड्यूस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आल्सो, बिकॉज कोल इज a little bit, because it is generated inside the India, it is found inside the India and it is little bit cheaper also. पावर प्लांट्स में इसको यूज कर सकते हैं, तो our entire energy security is dependent on that. And if we will not utilize these things, then we will not able to develop ourselves. तो एक तरफ तो तराजू के पल्ले की तरफ एक तरफ डेवलपमेंट है और दूसरी तरफ राइट्स हैं लोगों के. If we will exploit these coals, excavate these coals, then it will affect those population who are already living in that area. So because of that, we have to take some kind of balance. So we have to do some cost and benefit analysis also, and we have to put certain measures also, so that if development is happening, so the benefits of development, they should not be just siphoned away, just stolen away to some people who are living in urban areas, but the fruits of development, they should also reach to these people also. So we have some kind of social responsibility, or these corporate social responsibility also there, some other social audits mechanism also there to have some kind of control over these things. So earlier, there is a very famous Vedanta case in Odisha, where in Niyamgiri district some aluminum deposit was there. So Vedanta company, it got some rights to exploit these resources, but anyhow in Supreme Court things, this matter reached to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court just cancelled that thing, a license, so that it gave priority to the people. So these kind of conflicts always happen. So you can write resource access restriction, like if resources will be just taken from these people, then they will have lesser number of resources. The more you take, the less you have. So ऐसे करके जो फॉरेस्ट डिपेंडेंट कम्युनिटीज हैं, दे विल नॉट हैव access to traditional resources like mining. If we will ban mining also, then this will also affect these individuals in the form of labor or employment. Then on the other hand, suppose India also do some kind of employing some ban also, like ban on this water pollution. कि सपोज हमने वाटर पोल्यूशन वाटर पे कुछ बैन लगा दिया टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री पे, सपोज इन मेरठ देयर आर वेरियस टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, और वहां पे हमने बैन लगा दिया कि अब हम इतना पोल्यूशन जो है रिवर में नहीं छोड़ सकते, ये नहीं कर सकते, तो व्हाट विल हैपन, इट विल लीड टू सिग्निफिकेंट लॉस ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट फॉर दीज पीपल लाइक टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री, ब्रिक क्लीन्स. तो ऐसे करके हम जब कई बार बैन भी लगाते हैं डेवलपमेंट एक्टिविटी पे, तो दिस आल्सो लीड्स टू significantly affecting the livelihood of these poor people. So we have to just give certain reasons. Then how to compromise this thing, how to give a middle path or some kind of balance situation. We have to take both things, development as well as protection of these people. So various schemes like Narega 2.0, National Clean Air Program, Swachh Bharat Mission, solar sector, PM Kusum scheme, various these things they have been initiated with respect to this particular thing. So inclusive green policies, in green policies there have been given enough space for development as well as these rights of individuals. Now next question, that is, give a geographical explanation of the distribution of offshore oil reserves of the world. How are they different from the onshore occurrence of oil reserves? So there are two terms. First we need to understand what are these terms, like onshore and offshore. Onshore means on land, कि जो चीज लैंड पे आपको मिल जाए उसको हम बोलते हैं ऑनशोर, और ऑफशोर जो लैंड से हटके मिले इन वाटर बॉडीज और इन ओशियंस, मेनली इन ओशियंस, तो उसको हम बोलते हैं ऑफशोर. ऑनशोर रिकॉर्ड्स में जैसे तेल के कुएं वगैरह जो हैं मिडिल ईस्ट में और इन सब ईरान इराक वगैरह में, तो वी सी दैट ह्यूज नंबर ऑफ these oil deposits, they are being found inside the land. In India also, like in Rajasthan, in Assam, these areas we have found that certain onshore reserves, but there are also offshore reserves. Like in India we see KG basin, in Krishna and Godavari basin there is almost some oil wells, they are inside the offshore region or in ocean. And in this Mumbai high, this is also some offshore region where huge deposit of oil and gases they are being found. So we have to give a very glimpse of word over how much of these offshore oil reserves are there. So we have to give this thing like, so all over the world if you see this particular picture, so in this picture you can find some level of, जैसे in India in bird in Persian Gulf this is huge resource of offshore oil. In this region also there is resources. In Brazilian region also this is some kind of this oil reserves. So maximum number of or maximum deposit is being found in this Middle East region, where Persian Gulf is, it is having so much of offshore oil reserves. Then there is Central and South America where we can found this particular oil reserves. And there what is difference between that? Offshore जो होते हैं found in younger sedimentary basin, on the other hand onshore found older and more explored continental basin. एक्सप्लोरेशन टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर बोथ डिफरेंस. जो ऑफशोर होएगा वहां पे ऑयल रिग बनाना पड़ेगा, डीप वाटर ड्रिलिंग करनी पड़ेगी, बट इन ऑनशोर इट इज इजी कंपैरेटिवली टू डग द वेल एंड जस्ट ब्रिंग आउट द ऑयल. कॉस्ट एंड रिस्क, दिस इज वेरी हाई कॉस्ट एंड हाई रिस्क. ऑन द अदर हैंड ऑनशोर exhibition or onshore extraction of oil is very lower in cost. So these kind of difference you can also write in 2 or 3 lines. Environmental cost, this is also high cost because oceans they can be polluted because of that. और land जो होती है इसमें थोड़ी सी comparatively कम loss होने, because water is very mobile and whatever is produced, some pollution is produced inside that, it can travel longer and longer distance. So oil spills are there, water pollution is there. So this is more risky as well as pose greater risk also. So this question was related with offshore reserves of oils, and we have to write them. और क्यों कैसे डिफरेंस होते हैं? बिकॉज ऑफ वेरियस रीजंस. Now next question it was, how can artificial intelligence and drones be effectively used along with geographical information system and resource survey techniques in location and aerial planning? So there are various keywords like aerial planning, locational planning, then GIS, geographical information system, resource survey or remote sensing. This is remote sensing technique. Then artificial intelligence and drones. So these recently, this is the era of technology. In era of technology, we employ various tools and technology for our development. And these things like AI, drones, remote sensing, GIS, it can also be utilized for area planning also, develop locational planning. What is the history of planning in India? Like in India, we have made earlier erstwhile planning commission in 1950s. But this planning commission, in beginning, it focuses on one fit for all solution. So because of that, the growth was not as expected. So in later time, various area-based plan initiated like tribal area development plan, rainfed area development plan, hill area development plan, desert area development plan. So these kind of planning, area-based planning was introduced. And because these areas, they are relatively or they are little bit distinct from the other areas. So to give a better push or give a better effective development in these areas, these area and locational planning was employed. And with, so we have to, if we want to develop any area, so we have to measure that area, we have to have some kind of picture, some knowledge about that area. So this particular remote sensing is the technique to sense that area, to make some picture of that area, to know that area. Remote sensing is there. Then GIS, based on these remote sensing, various maps are being made. So because of that, various geological information can also be exhibited from that area. It can be taken from that area, and based on that, various things you can do. And now with the incoming of artificial intelligence and drones, you can also employ these things into for locational and area based planning. How? For example, suppose there is some kind of water increase is there, है ना? जैसे कि अगर हम देखें, recently we have seen in Dharali incidents in Uttarakhand. Dharali is a place where one river was meeting to the river Bhagirathi, and inside this meeting point, various residential structures, they were constructed inside the flood zone of this area. So generally this river is having less amount of water, and because of this less amount of water used to go with this manner. But because of one huge incidence of cloud burst, huge amount of glacial lake water as well as this water, it got released. And when this water came, it also brought itself along with stones, tree, logs as well as eroded materials. And these all eroded materials, when came down with huge slope, it got huge velocity, and when it came here, it almost covered this entire Dharali village. So entire Dharali village got covered by this debris, and because of that almost 100 people they lose their life, है ना? So in this situation, how these artificial intelligence and drones, they can be very helpful. So suppose we have employed some drones or some artificial intelligence, तो एआई की हेल्प से हमें ऐसे एरिया, पहले से ही रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एरिया पता चलने लगेंगे कि जहां पे रिसेंट में कुछ ना कुछ डेवलपमेंट में, स्ट्रक्चर में चेंज आया। तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट दिस न्यू बिहेवियरल चेंज और चेंज इन पैटर्न्स, these areas can be identified and proper course of action can be employed for this thing, कि आगे से सरकार जो है ऐसी जगहों को आइडेंटिफाई कर सकती है, वहां पे रिमूव कर सकती है। तो एआई इज हैविंग ह्यूज स्कोप फॉर डेवलपमेंट प्लानिंग। Another area is also like suppose लॉ एंड ऑर्डर है। लॉ एंड ऑर्डर में सपोज हमने किसी चौराहे पे एक कैमरा लगा दिया और यहां पे 4-5 लोग हैं, they are also standing and immediately they are start fighting, start abusing and start fighting. If suppose some camera is there, it can see this thing, change in behavior, and because of that this sends signals to some local center, and because of that some message will be go to the local police station, and that police station immediately can send some policeman to this location, and they can also bring this law and order situation under their control. So this can also be happen. So here you can utilize this artificial intelligence as well as GIS and remote sensing methodology for rural and area planning. So in various methods you can employ this thing. And recently government of India, it has started one scheme, Swamitva scheme. Under this, land belonging to the person, that will be, it will be surveyed and it will be digitally just inscribed towards the name of the owner. So ऐसे करके स्वामित्व स्कीम भी चलाई गई थी। तो ऐसे करके there are n number of application of these AI and drones. जैसे AI drones साइट सिलेक्शन के लिए जरूरी हो सकता है ना। Then लैंड सूटेबिलिटी एंड जोन मैप, कंप्यूटर विजन। तो ऐसे करके ढेर सारे आप एप्लीकेशन इनके कर सकते हो। लैंड यूज क्लासिफिकेशन में फॉर एग्जांपल महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट हैज यूटिलाइज्ड दिस एआई बेस्ड क्रॉप मैपिंग। देन दिस अर्बन ग्रोथ मॉडलिंग आल्सो, बेंगलुरु इज यूटिलाइजिंग एआई एंड जीआईएस बोथ फॉर अर्बन ग्रोथ, resource distribution also, environment impact monitoring also, disaster management also, for example उत्तराखंड की जो हमने बताई थी, है ना। then biodiversity planning also. So in various manner you can utilize these technologies, and technology is the future. If you utilize technologies, your future is to be safe. And because of that, India has also started national geospatial policy to initiate digital along with Digital India, so that both things merge together, and locational and aerial planning, it should be become more smarter and resilient. Now this is very straightforward question. What are tsunamis, how and where they are formed, what are their consequences? Explain with example. So tsunamis, as you very much aware, tsunamis are huge harbor waves. This particular terms, it has been taken from the Japanese language, and it means that huge harbor waves. And how these tsunamis they can generate it? For tsunamis, some kind of they can generate it with both natural phenomena as well as human phenomena. In nature, some tectonic activity may be there, some landslide may be there, and some kind of other incidents may be there, volcano may be there. So these are natural events. And for anthropogenic reasons, like some explosion, nuclear explosion or some bomb explosion, this can also be possible because of they can also result in this tsunamis. So how tsunamis they form? Because of this situation. And where they may form? They form inside the oceans, and from they travel towards the coast. So when these energy, when it comes towards the coast, it reaches to very great height. और वो चीज क्या होती है, मैकेनिज्म क्या होती है? एक होता है वेवलेंथ और दूसरी होती है किसी वेव की हाइट. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज एम्पलीट्यूड, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज वेवलेंथ. सो इनसाइड द डीप ओशन दिस वेव लेंथ इज वेरी वेरी हाई, वेरी लार्ज वेवलेंथ, ह्यूज वेवलेंथ. तो बहुत बड़ी वेवलेंथ एक जनरेट होती है एनर्जी. तो एनर्जी ट्रेवल्स इन ह्यूज वेव्स हु आर हैविंग वेरी लार्ज वेवलेंथ. But when they come along the coast, तो यहां पे बिकॉज ऑफ हाइट जो है या डेप्थ जो है वाटर की, इट स्टार्ट्स डिक्रीजिंग, और जब ये डेप्थ डिक्रीज होने लगती है तो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट वेवलेंथ शॉर्ट होती है और एम्पलीट्यूड बढ़ता चला जाता है. तो सपोज सम वेव विच इज इनसाइड दिस डीप ओशन is having this much of wavelength. Now this wavelength will convert into some height along the coast, so it can reach to the very higher reach. So almost जैसे पहले अगर यहाँ पे जब ये जो वेव आएगी, almost it can reach up to 30 to 40 feet height. जैसे कि in 2004 when famous tsunami came inside the India because of some tectonic incidents happened along the Java coast or in Indonesia. Because of that huge wave of water, it came in the form of tsunami in coastal areas. So in India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, then Indonesia, then other in South Asian region, everywhere a huge tsunami was created. So this is the mechanism for formation of tsunamis. And how and what are the consequences? Consequences are very, very dangerous or catastrophic. Huge loss of coastal life, coastal infrastructure, coastal erosion, and coastal economy. है ना? Then socio-economic effects are also there. So you can write all these things. Causes of tsunamis like underwater earthquake because of tectonic shifting, underwater volcanic eruption, submarine landslides, meteoroid impact. These are natural resources, and other sources like human, like explosion, testing of nuclear material, they can also generate some kind of tsunamis. Now mechanism kya hai? Sea floor disturbance. When there is a disturbance in sea floor, this particular wave travel, and when this travel, then along with this wave there is also huge amount of energy is being released, and this energy travels in the form of waves. When this wave come towards the coastal areas, its height increases, and because of that these tsunamis they forms. So this is mechanism. And then consequences also: human casualties, infrastructure destruction, coastal inundation of water, nuclear disaster like Fukushima in 2011, port and industry disruption. Long-term impact: environmental degradation because of these tsunamis, saltwater intrusion affecting the agriculture, because so much salt water it comes inside the agricultural areas. This water is salty, so it adds salt into the soil, so land becomes not suitable for agriculture. Then these are various impact. So what are the various mitigation? Early warning system. India has initiated Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning System like IO Wave 2023 exercise, then community resilience, etc. Then conclusion, tsunamis though rare are highly destructive natural hazards. Their prevention is impossible, but mitigation through early warning, planning and international cooperation can save lives and reduce economic loss. So you can always write such kind of conclusion, giving a very brief summary as well as some kind of optimistic approach. So now the next question is, this is very straightforward question. What are non-form primary activities? How are these activities related to physiographic features in India? Discuss with suitable examples. 10 marks का क्वेश्चन था. इंडिया में एग्रीकल्चर एक्टिविटीज कई ढेर सारी हैं. दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन इज फ्रॉम एनसीईआरटी 12th क्लास. 12th क्लास की जो एनसीईआरटी है रिलेटेड विद ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी ऑफ इंडिया, उसमें ये पर्टिकुलर सब चीजें दी हैं. नॉन फॉर्म एक्टिविटी, उस पर पर्टिकुलर एक पूरा पेज दिया है जिसमें उन्होंने डिस्कस करा है कि इंडिया के लिए. तो इंडिया में क्या है कि दिस इज वेरी ह्यूज लैंड मास, और यहां पे इतनी डाइवर्सिटी है, तो हर एरिया में अलग अलग एक्टिविटी चल रही हैं. मेजर इकोनॉमी जो इंडिया की है, इट इज बेस्ड ऑन एग्रीकल्चर, है ना. मोस्ट ऑफ द नंबर ऑफ पीपल दे आर एम्प्लॉयड इन एग्रीकल्चर इवन टुडे आल्सो, दो द इकोनॉमिक आउटपुट फ्रॉम द एग्रीकल्चर इज कंटिन्यूसली डिक्रीजिंग. नाउ इट इज ओनली 15 to 16% ऑफ इकोनॉमी ऑफ जीडीपी, बट it employ still almost 60 to 65% of population and 75% population of our rural India. So इसमें जो नॉन फॉर्म प्राइमरी एक्टिविटीज पूछी, तो एक्टिविटीज दे कैन बी डिवाइडेड इनटू प्राइमरी एक्टिविटी लाइक एग्रीकल्चर एंड दिस थिंग, देन सेकेंडरी activities like industries, है ना, mini, micro, small industries. Then there is tertiary activity like service sector and commerce, like that. Then there is quaternary also sector where some kind of research, law services, like that. So these various, on the basis of these activities, various primary, secondary, tertiary, these activities has been defined. So within primary activities in India, there is also one more segregation, that is form based and non-form based. Form based means agriculture, एग्रीकल्चर एंड रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज, कि एग्रीकल्चर में जितने भी उसकी हार्वेस्टिंग से, उसकी सीड से, उसके जितने भी रिलेटेड प्रोग्राम होते हैं, ये एक्टिविटीज होती हैं, दे आर रिलेटेड विद फॉर्म एक्टिविटी. ऑन द अदर हैंड नॉन फॉर्म एक्टिविटी जो एक्सट्रैक्शन से रिलेटेड हो और उन सब चीजों से रिलेटेड हो, बट एग्रीकल्चर वहां पे इन्वॉल्व ना हो, दीज आर कॉल्ड एज नॉन फॉर्म एक्टिविटीज लाइक फिशिंग, फॉरेस्ट्री, माइनिंग, क्वारिंग, हंटिंग, गैदरिंग, डेयरिंग. All these kind of activities, they are involved inside the non-form activities. अब इंडिया में, पूरे इंडिया में, this is very diverse land, और पूरे डाइवर्स इंडिया में कहीं कहीं पे अलग अलग एक्टिविटी ढेर सारी मिलती हैं. जैसे इन हिली रीजन देर इज डिफरेंट एक्टिविटी नॉन फॉर्म, इन कोस्टल एरियाज देर विल बी डिफरेंट एक्टिविटी, इन plateau region there will be different activities, in Chota Nagpur plateau there will be different non-form activity. So these are various activities. So for example, these are examples of non-form activities like mining, quarrying, forestry, fishing activities, salt production. Then प्लेन जैसे प्लेन इन नॉन फॉर्म एक्टिविटीज जैसे सैंड माइनिंग, जैसे इंडिया यमुना एंड गंगा का फ्लड प्लेन है, वहां पे सैंड माइनिंग इज अ ह्यूज नॉन फॉर्म एक्टिविटी. लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल दे आर इन्वॉल्व इन दिस सैंड माइनिंग. ब्रिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, कि जो ब्रिक पंजाब एंड हरियाणा में ईंटें बनाने का जो काम होता है. इनलैंड फिशरीज आल्सो, वेस्ट बंगाल में डेल्टाइक रीजन में. ग्राउंड वाटर एक्सट्रैक्शन इंडो गैंगेटिक प्लेन में. तो दीज आर वेरियस एक्टिविटीज. Then plateau region में coal mining in Jharkhand, iron ore mining in Odisha, then bauxite extraction in Kalahandi district, stone quarrying in Rajasthan, forest products in Madhya Pradesh, coastal areas में marine fishing, salt production, pearl cultivation, seaweed harvesting, mountain region में slate mining, limestone, medicinal plant, timber. So these are various reason and there is various activities, non-form activities. So sometimes there is nexus also, mixing of various, like coastline में fish culture भी हो सकता है, and then in Thar area, because this is non-agricultural area, so here pastoral economy also there. So these are various non-form activities which can generate in various areas. So these activities demonstrate India's physiographic diversity and specialized economic opportunities. Suppose various initiatives like National Mineral Information Center, Blue Economy, as well as other policies to support these rural employment, like आगे स्कीम जैसे है वो रूरल ट्रांसपोर्ट को बढ़ाता है. ई रिक्शा के लिए आप लोन ले लो और नॉन फॉर्म एक्टिविटी में इन्वॉल्व हो जाओ. जो लेडीज हैं उनके लिए सिलाई मशीन की सुविधा रहती है ना. नरेगा वाली स्कीम जो रहती है, नॉन फॉर्म एक्टिविटी में आप इन्वॉल्व हो. So these are various activities which are related to non-form areas. So these are various questions which appear inside the mains 2025, and my analysis is that these questions, most number of questions, they are straightforward, and few questions which required little bit analysis, है ना. So because of that I will share this PDF to you for your reference also. Thank you so much. If you have any question, then please just ask me. Okay. Thank you.